レッドアイズダークネスドラゴンを生贄に現れろ。レッドアイズダークネスメタルドラゴン。
What is poppin' and choppin' my Bagel Bites? It is Mr. Bagel Bites back with another deck profile. Just got back from the 3v3 at my locals this weekend, which we won. I went undefeated for the Edison table. We had one goat who was on Chaos Controlled deck. I can't remember what he was on, just like standard goat stuff. And then I piloted my take kind of on, oh my gosh, Jackson Madden's Dragons with the Blizzard Dragon list that took second and then won pretty big tournament. I think it was like a 64-man tournament fairly recently. I saw it and saw Blizzard in it and absolutely loved the deck and wanted to kind of adapt with that using my list that I played at, oh my gosh, was it Indy? Not YCS Indy, but the one before that. But anyway, yes, so I love Dragons in Edison format. I really want to be the one to get Solidarity Dragons on the, like, radar of people, and I think this may finally do it. Like, I am absolutely in love with this deck. It's been super consistent, performed super well. Out of 5 rounds, I only dropped like 2 games. Like, I 2'd like everyone. Didn't lose a single match, but we lost like 2 games. Like, this deck was insane. Performed super well. But let me go ahead and get into the video, and I'll kind of explain stuff that we chose here. So obviously, triple red MD. I mean, you need it. it's like the core of the deck. It's one of the reasons the deck's so good. We got triple Wyvern. Wyvern, of course, you want to pair that with the red MD so you can recur those. The triple Blizzies, man. Blizzard Dragon's so good. Like, I've always thought it was good, and like it being a water comes up, like, because you can then special summon under the 3 Kokimeru Dragos that you play. In Kokimeru, when you get to play 3 Kokimeru in like a Dragon Brew like this, and you just shut down so many of like the main decks in the format right now. But like Blizzard's so cool because it gets under this being a water, and then 1800 summon, so it crashes with Shura, like Gear Frame, so like it matches like a lot of the big summons, only less than like Kokimeru and like Alias, a couple things like that. Also hit Stratos, but that has this really cool effect where you target a monster on your opponent's board and it can't attack or change its battle position until the end of your next turn, or no, their turn. So during their entire turn, they just can't move it. So like if you lose the die roll, which if anyone has been following knows I lose the die roll a lot, you just like summon this on like turn 2 and you can just like target their face down Raikou, or even late game like for control, and then they just can't flip it. And since they can't Gamba mill off Raikou, you're just in such a far position. Like, it's so good. And like I think this card is just really good, really underrated, and I think we found a way to make it a bit better. We're running 2 Spear in the main. I think Spear Dragon is absolutely insane. I've thought about it before, but Jackson really sold me on it. This card coming out at 1900 without anything else, being a win too, so you can play it under Kokimeru, and then just swinging into like Raikous for 1700 damage, or potentially more, as we'll show later. Or just like coming out being a threat, and then like it doesn't have Goblin attack force thing where like you have to wait a turn. So like after it turns to defense after battle, you can just do it on your next turn. And then it's like a commanding presence with 1900 attack again. Like, Spear Dragon's really good. Like, I really think I might even bump it to 3. Like, this card overperformed. And then people are just like, they don't want to deal with it. Like, it's just too good. And then the 1 Exploder Dragon's the last main deck monster. Exploder's just so good. And it's an Earth, and you can recur it. You just crash into monsters you don't want to deal with, and it just pops them. I played like 3 Blackwings like the entire round, and then just like they commit like dumb monsters into the board, and then like I just bring out Exploder like to bait like their Icarus and like nothing else with it, and then just Exploder, and then like we can make plays, and like depending on what we had, we might be able to play further. Like Exploder's just really good. I can't see myself ever cutting it. Like, I've honestly thought about bumping it, but now for the tech that I want to do, I wanted to put this at 3, but we decided on 2. It's Solidarity. I think Solidarity in Dragons is such an amazing card. It pumps all your guys. So like your Spear Dragon's coming down, 2700 attack points, especially if you get to resolve your Future Fusion, like dumping monsters, so like these are immediately live. 2700 piercing, like 4-drop, is just bonkers. I was hitting into Raikus for 2,500 damage, and then just OTKing the next turn. Blizzard's coming down, 2,600. They beat over Stardust Dragon. And then, the reason that I think Solidarity is absolutely cracked in Dragons is this is the one deck that also can play Solidarity and like playing Starlight Road in the main. So you flip this, bring out your Stardust Dragon, 3,300 attack points. Sure, pretty impressive. Just a big monster off this and protects your cards. Also, if it dies, it's in the graveyard, and it's a dragon, so it doesn't mess with your synergy of the rest of your deck's dragons. So it's just so good. I think Solidarity and Dragons is really slept on. I think this may finally be the way to do it. Because, like, you don't have to play, like, DD Warrior Lady and stuff and hope you remove it and, like, this is still live. Like, I was playing, like, Infernal Dragons and, like, putting them at 28. Mass Dragons coming down at, like, 2,200 off Special Summon. But I think this is the way to do it. I think this is finally the way that I feel comfortable saying that this is the Solidarity Dragons. One Future Fusion and 2 ways to get to it being Gold Sark. Obviously, you play Future Fusion, and I'm playing the 2 Gold Sark, obviously, to get to it. You want to see Future Fusion. We got BrainCon. Obviously. I'm actually playing all 3 of, like, the big storms. So we play 1 Heavy, 1 Trunade, and 1 MST. I just want to blow them out. I just want to blow them out the water. Like, I want them to, like, set something dumb. I want to be able to have an answer to it. And also, I did end up getting to do this one time, like, Starlight Roading my own Heavy Storm, because they had, like, Black Whirlwind or something, but nothing, like, big, but, like, no real back row. So I was able to be like, Heavy Storm, chain my road, get a 3,300 Stardust Dragon, and then just, like, swing for game. So I did want to tech the Heavy, but I was cutting it at first and just playing these 2 and siding Heavy. Mistake. I want all 3 in. I just want to blow them out of the water. So, those are there. 1 Burial, absolutely cracked card. Getting to recur your red MDs, or your Wyverns and stuff, and then whatever you banish, put back. Also, just as, like, interaction against your opponent, too, it can come up, like, when they play Return, from the different dimension. So that was pretty cool. That came up once, actually, against, was it Dragon Turbo? I think it was Dragon Turbo. I definitely did this to someone and put, like, their monsters they were bringing back, and then they're just scooped. Like, oh, cool. Because I didn't have anything. I'm like, damn, this isn't doing anything right now. And then, pop! So that was really cool. 3 Upstart and 3 Legacy. I do think that... I really thought about playing Jar, too. But I think that's overkill, and I don't want to kill 3 more slots. So we are playing 3 Upstart and 3 Legacy to deep draw a bit more, which I think the deck needed. 2 Deep Prism, absolutely insane in this. So, like, a really funny thing that happened a couple times, it would be like, here's my Spear Dragon, swing into, like, something dumb, and then it would, like, swap to defense. And like I said, I played, like, 3 Blackwing matches, so, like, then the opponent would be like, I summon Vayu to just, like, get over this, thinking, like, oh, well, if he kills it, like, it's engrave, and if he can't bottomless or anything, so I'll just swing into the Spear Dragon because it has 0 defense, because I don't want a 2,700 beater, like, swapping positions next turn. And then they just, like, walked into Deep Prison, and they're like, oh, that's really bad, I lose. Yeah, Deep Prison, really good card. Well, obviously really good card, but a really good card in this. 1 Mirror Force, because it's at 1. So these ratios are all at 1, so I'll kind of go over this. 1 Starlight Road in the main, 1 Call of the Haunted, 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Return from the Different Dimension, and the 1 Trap Dust Shoot. I really wanted to fit Bottomless in here. If you don't like the Solidarity, I think what Jackson did, if I'm not mistaken, is like one of the big changes, is these Solidarities were Bottomless Trap Holes, I think, like in his brew. I really wanted to try this, and I think it overperformed and threw a lot of people off, because they went from dealing with relatively small monsters to like 3,600 attack point red MDs, 2,700 Kokimerus, like 2,700 Kokimerus, 26 Blizzards, just like really big threats that they didn't know how to deal with because it's so much higher attack than normal. But yeah, that's the main deck. Like I said, I think this overperformed. I really like how this turned out. Oh, obviously, yeah, you have to have your tokens. You play the Gores token, but with no Gores. That way they know that you're on. You play the 1 Yami Yugi and then the 2 Ojama Green tokens for the consistency. 1 5 God Dragon. You need to reveal it for Future Fusion. And then 2 Chimera Tech Fortress. We are playing Sidra in the side because I think that it's not fair to not respect Machina. I think it's starting to be a lot more prevalent, and people are cutting Stardust. And I think so. I was on the band where I said like I think it's fine to start cutting or Stardust, Cyber Dragon, because Machina wasn't seeing play because everyone sided Sidra like system down, and now because that happened, Machina is starting to be played again. So I do think that you want to play at least one of these to try and blow them out. I'm playing two because the extra deck in Dragons isn't super like important, but it does come up because you basically have the Brain Con a tuner, so that's why it doesn't super come up. But 2 Stardust, thought about bumping it to 3, still might, but we're only playing 2 Starlight, but we can't technically make it. 1 Dark End, 1 Black Rose, 1 Trident, Dragon Archfiend, Goyo, Brianek, Taster, Iron Chain, Thought Ruler, Colossus. Just pretty standard extra deck. Nothing super out of the ordinary. But then what's cool is because Solidarity's at a 2 ratio, it makes a lot of these choices in the side deck. It was the reason for a lot of like the decisions for how I sided here. So I'll kind of go into these now. So I played the 2 Sidra, kind of for what I mentioned. I think it's not good to count Machina out right now. I think it's on the rise enough. I did play 1. It was 3 Blackwing, 1. It was like Machina something. I think it might have been. All I really saw was the Machina, and then like a few other weird machines, but it was mostly just Machina. And then Vayu was the last match. So kind of like 4 Blackwings. Or no, I played a Dragon. Maybe I was mixed up. Like, yeah, I think it was 2 Blackwing, 1 Vayu, 1 Dragon, 1 Machina. I think those were my matchups. Yeah. So I think the 2 Sidra are good. Plus, like, it's not a bad monster to side into to have another body that you can just kind of like special summon. And like have a 21 beater. Like, Sidra's a good monster. Like, I probably wouldn't cut Sidra. Maybe put it to 1 and 1 if I really needed a slot, but I just don't think I did. 1 Prime Material, because we were on modern rules, so I have 2 reasons for this. 1, I think Prime Material is a really good monster. I think people are sleeping on it. Under Solidarity, it goes to 3200. That can come up. If your opponent tries to burn you, it doesn't happen. And then it also prevents destruction. So it has a few uses there, plus you just special summon it or dump it off Future Fusion. It's also a light, so that part kind of stinks if you have Kokimeru, but I do think this comes up enough that it's really good. Yeah, so I took the 1. The 3rd Spear in the side is for like Raikou decks, or like just defense decks in general, or Vayu. I think it's really good to just be able to like swing into that stuff, clear those monsters, clear the hamsters, so they don't stay on board after you flip them. I really like Spear Dragon, so I sometimes side into the 3rd, but I don't like to main the 3 right now. He was maining like a Luster Dragon, like the Vanilla 4. At first I was kind of like, I don't know, but like the more I played this, I was like, you know, I kind of would like to just have like a committable summon that's 1900 to the field, and like not have to worry about it switching after it attacks to defense position. So there is like a logic to it, and I completely get it now, but I didn't think of it at the time. Plus I couldn't find a Luster Dragon, so I like the 2 main Spear and then 1 in the side, as opposed to just 1 in the main, 1 in the side. I really think this card is insane. 1 Starlight Road, and now is like the ratios where I kind of went like where they would change out with Solidarity. So we played 2 Royal Oppression in the side. At first I didn't like it in Dragons, but then like I kind of started playing it and I was like, actually wait, this card's really good, especially in like this more control Dragon brew, and then like with big monsters. So if you just have like this plus like Spear or Blizzard or both, God forbid, you're just kind of set, because like they're having to like set monsters into you, and then like Blizzard can freeze them, and then like when you're ready and have like Solidarity swing through 2700 Spear Dragons because they just can't play. Like I think this was really good. 2 Mask of Restrict for frogs and like monarchs and stuff. Didn't see any, unfortunately, but I'd rather have them than not because it is a popular deck. I think this would do better at like a Konami like YCS type event, or like a regional flight, because I think more players play like frogs and monarchs there, even though because like they have the decks and like the ratios there, and like I get it, and I think it is a strong deck, but I think it is starting to lose favor. Same thing kind of with the Pulling the Rug. It does have other matchups. Like I played it, I sided it against Machina to stop like the gear frame, But, like, yeah, that was about it. I think pulling the rug might start finally coming down in ratios because of how the meta is shaping, which isn't bad. Like, that's another cool thing about Edison. Like, it's always, like, changing. And people just think, like, Vayu, best deck. It's just not. Like, it's just the most represented. One transmigration for graveyard decks, like Vayu, I think this card's really good. I like it better than DD Crow most of the time because Edison's a bit slower. And it just comes up enough where... Plus, like, putting my monsters back comes up, too. Because, like, just getting to resolve... Because it's 2 cards. And you just have to shuffle them back. So, like, I want a power card back, and I can just be like, oh, here we go. Or, like... I don't know. I just think this card's really good. It's at 1, and I have the ultimate, so I mean, like, I want to play it. Another one of deck dev. Like, the transmigration was the final decision, like, last minute. It was another deck dev. But I kind of only wanted to play deck dev at 1 because I'm only playing 1 target for it, being the Red MD. So I didn't like it as much in the main. If I was playing more, even just smaller Dark Dragons or like Infernal or something, I would have considered it more simply because Solidarity would boost them and then deck dev would trigger, which was my idea at the last YCS. But since I'm not, I think 1 is fine. Because, like, when you're going into game and you draw this, like, game 2, game 3, and they try to, like, Brain Con or Mind Con or whatever they have to take your Red MD, and you just, like, flip the deck dev, and they go super neg. They're just in shambles after that. So I do like the 1 deck dev. I would consider bumping it to 2. Last card is 7 Tools. Absolutely insane card. 7 Tools is slept on. I'm bumping this to 2 probably. I don't know what I'm doing yet with this. This card was insane the whole weekend. Counter trap so they can't respond to it. So it's like you're playing like Solemn Judgment. Torrent? No. Icarus Attack? Get out of here. Mirror Force? No, I'm killing you this turn. So like with the with all the spell trap removal in the main, and then like having this as like backup for following turns, felt just insane. But that's the deck. Hope you enjoy. If you have any questions or want to see like another deck soon, go ahead and hit it down in the comments. Hit that like, subscribe button to keep up to date on Mr. Bagel Bites content. I might be starting to pivot a bit more toward Edison on the channel again, I'm not going to lie. Simply because I really don't like the direction that the main Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going with like Fiendsmith and stuff. I do still want to play, and I do have a Sprite deck I've been playing that I keep meaning to make a video about. Because I think Sprite's not actually terrible going into the next format. But, yeah, let me know what you think. Down below, like, subscribe, all those bells and BS. Thank you guys so much. Catch you later.